Hey guys, little disclaimer before the video starts. This video also has a like goal of 100 likes, so 100 likes and you'll get a part 7. Sorry I didn't mention that at the beginning, I kind of forgot to. So here I am, recording, so I could just shove this at the beginning of the video. So yeah, peace out. Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 6 to my remake of What If Naruto Was Full Uzumaki. Last part, we basically went through the rest of the original Naruto, and Naruto was about to leave for the break between Shippuden, or Naruto and Shippuden. So with that, let's get back into the What If. So yeah, the break with Shippuden, that happens. Naruto basically goes with Jiraiya, and they train for I think it was 3 years that they ended up training for, and Naruto's going to be really OP after this, or even more OP than he already was. So for one, he learns the Rasengan. He learns the wind style Rasengan, not the Rasen Shuriken just yet. The reason I'm having him learn that is because he had already learned a lot of different jutsus that Jiraiya could teach him, and Naruto would ask for higher ranking things, and he would already know about changes of chakra natures and shit like that from his research and different things like that. So he'd want Jiraiya to try to help him learn that kind of different things. So he has a wind style Rasengan, just getting that out of the way, and he also has a few different wind style jutsus, like Gale Palm and different random shit like that, just because, he learned the change in chakra nature. He had 3 years to do stuff, so he would definitely learn different, techniques such as that. And I don't remember if I said this at the very beginning, if Naruto would have different chakra natures, but I think I'm gonna make him have water style and stuff. I don't remember if I did that in part 1 or not, but I'm gonna do that now. So he learns a few different water techniques, like water wall, water bullet, water dragon, and just, everything like that. Along with a water Rasengan, which is, kind of the same thing, but, with water instead. What would its special ability do? Wind cut stuff, fire burn stuff. What would water do? Just, would it put the person in some kind of weird vortex of water or something? I think that's what its special ability is. It just puts them in this weird vortex of water that would cut, damage them as well as drown them, kind of like a water prison. So it's like a water prison but more OP. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with that. So Naruto ends up coming back. He also mastered the Flying Raijin Jutsu, because he had all that time to do it. So basically completely mastering it, putting it into his fighting style and everything like that. And this was actually the first time during this training that Naruto would actually activate the Nine Tails Chakra during some of their fights and training and different random shenanigans like that. So Naruto also gets the key and everything like that. And should I make him go and learn Sage Mode? Because Jiraiya would probably think about teaching him that, but at the same time maybe, I don't know. So yeah, he learns Sage Mode because, why not? They had freaking 3 years to do it, and it only took Naruto a matter of weeks to completely master Sage Mode. So yeah, they'd go to Mount Myoboku, and they ended up training there for a while. Jiraiya would also be training to master Sage Mode too, once he realized that this brat, or Naruto, could do it pretty easily. So he's like, okay, whatever, I might as well master that shit. So he ends up going back to Mount Myoboku. They both get perfected Sage Mode, and they end up heading back to the village. Now, I'm going to cover Sasuke's training, because it's going to be a little bit different. Everything generally is going to remain the same, except for one small difference. Or not really small difference, but one difference. Instead of spending all of their time, sleeping and, doing that type of training, Orochimaru gets the idea to head back to the cave where the snake sage shit people are. And he ends up going there because he wants to see if Sasuke has the ability to learn Snake Sage Mode, or that weird ability that Kabuto had. So Sasuke is actually able to, just because otherwise Naruto is going to completely outclass him in terms of literally everything. And, so Naruto would end up coming back to the village, and Karin didn't actually really see Naruto pretty much at all during that 3-year time span, I guess you could say. And she's been missing him because, they were, right before they left the village, they actually started dating and, started doing different stuff like that. Now, they're older, I think, is Naruto 15 or 16? I don't know. But they're older now, and they start, doing the things that they did after they left, or after, before I guess they left would be a better way to put it. And Naruto then just kind of like chills around the village because, you know, I haven't been here in like 3 fucking years. Like, damn. Like, that took me a while to get here. So he walks around the village because, you know, he does that. And he notices all of the people that, you know, were in the village that kind of like hated him because, you know, it's Naruto. So people like Sakura and Ino and everybody like that. Oh yeah, Sakura isn't even a ninja in this, so she couldn't do shit to Naruto now because, like, you know, she isn't even a ninja. So there's no like training for Tsunade did not end up training Sakura. It's like I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I feel like Karin would honestly go and train with Tsunade because she'd be like, well, if he's going to train with the legendary Sannin, I can't let him surpass me, because if he does, then he's going to rub it in my face. So she's like, okay, what if I didn't go train with the legendary Sannin? So she, with her good chakra control, I'm going to say it's even better than Sakura's, she's kind of like healing jutsu, super strength, basically everything that Sakura did, or what Sakura, yeah, basically like that. She also did stuff with Kurenai to learn different, like, genjutsu and different things like that, because that's what Sakura should have done, but this is, like, Karin in this is, like, a useful version of Sakura who likes Naruto. That's kind of, like, what this is. So, yeah, why not? So, she ends up learning more genjutsu and, you know, healing jutsu as well as his super strength during the 3 years that Naruto was gone from the village. So, yeah. Now, Naruto would go and he'd basically, like, run around the village, just like I said, and eventually he would go to the Hokage office with where Tsunade and everybody like that is, because Tsunade is still the 5th Hokage. So Naruto kind of like gets wind or gets word of that, like, the stuff with Gaara is happening. So he's like, okay, I might as well go try to save him. So they end up running over there, and this time it's Naruto, Karin, and Kakashi, not, you know, fucking Sakura. Except for Karin is, like, a hell of a lot stronger than Sakura, and probably be pretty easy to take down Sasori with the level of strength she has. But we're not getting into that. Like, she's probably stronger than Tsunade at this point. Not probably, she just is. But whatever. So they end up going there. They discover Kankuro. Karin would end up still healing Kankuro with, like, because she still ended up getting, like, the whole, like, healing training and everything like that. And Kankuro is saved because, you know, poison resistance and shit that, or not poison resistance, but, like, they made an antidote for the poison. And Chiyo would walk in, she'd be like, the White Fang, or whatever Kakashi's dad's name is, and, you know, Kakashi would be like, fuck you, I'm not him. And, yeah, I don't know what I'm even going with. I think I'm crazy, but I don't think I am. So Chiyo ends up going with them. They go and they try to find where Gaara was taken. They start walking along, and they discover the Itachi clone. They pretty easily manage to take care of it, either with Naruto entering Sage Mode or, you know, something of that sort. Even he might not even have to enter Sage Mode with the level of strength he has, but, you know, if he entered Sage Mode, he would easily be able to take down the clone. So they take down the clone a lot faster than they do in the original, and they go over to where the actual, like, fight is, or not the fight, but where Gaara is being, like, sucked. So, due to being, like, there a little bit sooner, they actually managed to get there literally, in the brink of time. The second they, like, burst through the door, Gaara was probably about, like, literally, like, 5 minutes away from being, like, dead, basically. So, they burst through the door, and they're like, shit, we can't fucking finish extracting the One-Tails. So, they drop Gaara to the ground. He's, like, unconscious, but he's not actually dead in this. And he's like, okay. So, Naruto would begin fighting with Deidara and Sasori, and immediately he realizes that he should probably enter Sage Mode for this fight, considering these are two, like, Akatsuki members, and he's heard of the Akatsuki because Jiraiya was, like, you know, learning all about them and learning how powerful they were, so he goes like, okay, Sage Mode, baby, closes his eyes for about 3 to 4 seconds before reopening them, revealing that he was indeed in Sage Mode. He lunges towards Deidara now, who wasn't actually expecting Naruto to be quite so fast or strong or literally anything, and Naruto then creates one of his water-style Rasengans. He actually manages to hit Deidara with it, or Deidara doesn't dodge it because he isn't fast enough to, and he gets caught in this little like vortex whirlpool thing of this weird water that just is constantly cutting him and bruising him, and he's drowning at the same time. He can't really do anything to get out of it. He creates an explosion, and it actually successfully manages to make like a little hole in the chakra, making all the water like stop like spinning around him, like because you need that like concentration, I guess you could say. So it's kind of like the Rasengan in the way like you need to have the chakra control to be able to use it. So Deidara successfully manages to get out of that, and he's like, "The fuck was that?" Before Naruto's like, "Oh, you survived it," creating another Rasengan. This time, wind style. He, once again, just kind of shoves it into Deidara, but this time, Deidara wouldn't survive it. Like, he just wouldn't. Like, he gets cut up so much and takes so much damage, because not only did he got hit by 2 Rasengans, by a really powerful Sage Naruto at this. Like, yeah, like, the main point of the water one was to, like, trap your enemy inside of this, like, pretty much unescapable thing, unless you have fucking explosions like Deidara did, but it still is a Rasengan, so that impact of Naruto hitting him with it would still hurt a hell of a lot. Same with the cutting power and the brute force that would be with the wind style Rasengan. So Naruto pretty easily kills Deidara before turning his little like look towards Sasori. He basically just punches the basically outer casing thing, shattering it immediately. Karin would realize that she kind of wants to do something in this fight and not just let Naruto take on both of them by herself with pretty much no difficulty. So she jumps in and she punches Sasori. Sasori, he can't really like die unless you like break his weird little like heart thing. So the puppet around him shatters, but there's more, and his heart thing like flies into another one of those things, and Naruto notices that as well as Karin. And they're like, okay, well, we just have to break that, and then we could probably kill him pretty easily. So they decide that that's exactly what they're going to try to do. So they turn towards Sasori, or they turn towards each other, and they nod at each other because they know that each of them know exactly what the plan is going to be. And Naruto, or no, probably Karin would start running forward because Naruto would be faster. Karin starts running forward a little bit sooner than Naruto, and she begins running towards Sasori. As she's doing this, Naruto's kind of running behind her, basically out of sight of Sasori, forming a Rasengan in his hand. As Sasori is about to try to deflect the blast or punch from Karin literally just kind of jumps out of the way, revealing that Naruto is standing right behind her, with the Rasengan about 3 inches away from Sasori's like little heart thing. He tries to dodge out of the way, but he isn't able to, and the Rasengan point blanks him right in the heart. This is a wind style Rasengan at that, so he immediately dies. It like gets literally shredded into hundreds of thousands of pieces, and Sasori is dead. So this is where you have to like meet with Kabuto and Orochimaru, so they don't end up going to the Tenkaichi Bridge. So yeah, that happens. So now they're like, okay, well, we should probably go back to the village and report what happened. So they go and they get Gaara, and they start like hauling him back to the village. He eventually would wake up, obviously, and he'd be like, Naruto? He's like, you saved me. And they have their little like handshake that they do. And Naruto would be like, okay, I gotta go back to the village, my guy. Peace. And he ends up leaving the village to go back to his village. So with that, there's, again, no Tenkaichi Bridge, reconnaissance, whatever you want to call that. And, yeah, that doesn't happen. So Orochimaru and, like, Kabuto would still just be training with Sasuke, who, if you don't remember, I said had Sage Mode. So, yeah. So, he has Sage Mode, and he's really OP at this point. And he's like, okay, well, Sasuke is probably really strong, and I don't know if I should get him to be, like, much stronger than he already is, because he's really strong, and I don't know if, like, he's gonna, like, turn against me, but I still can't take his body yet, because, he's basically thinking all of these different things. He's just like, Sasuke could kill me if he tried to. And as he's thinking that, like, in bed, basically almost dying, he's like, okay, so, basically speaking, he could kill me at pretty much any point. And as he's thinking that, a Chidori Raiso, or like the weird like frickin' beam of lightning, like shoots through the door, piercing Orochimaru's like little arm, but not killing him or anything like that. And Sasuke would begin battling Orochimaru. Orochimaru is basically at the same level he was in the original, except for the fact that Sasuke is just as strong, plus he could activate Sage Mode, so Sasuke would win this fight. So yeah, Sasuke wins, he leaves, Kabuto's just like, God damn, bruh, why are you so strong? Why did you kill him? And Sasuke's like, oh, he has nothing left to teach me. So he would end up leaving, and he would go to the different hideouts, and he's just like, okay, so how am I going to form a team? So he starts forming Team Taka, except for one difference. There's no Karin to be part of that team, so Sasuke couldn't get, like, healed and different shit like that, but he still ends up getting the other two people who I can't remember the names of right now. Nature Energy Guy and Water Guy. Those two. You know who I'm talking about. So Sasuke tries to form Team Taka, but with only, like, 3 members instead of the original 4 it had. So yeah, that happens. He then goes and he's just like, our goal is to kill Itachi Uchiha, before basically leaving. He would not encounter Deidara or anybody like that, because Deidara's fucking dead. But that happens, like, towards, like, the war arc. No, that does not happen towards the war arc. I don't know what I'm saying. No, Deidara would not be there to challenge Sasuke or anything like that. So, Sasuke would still go, and you'd be like, Itachi! And, stuff like that. But that doesn't actually happen quite yet. I'm pretty sure the pain stuff happens before that. So, yeah. So, Pain would end up, showing up at the village, because Jiraiya would not, like, go by himself or anything like that. So Pain would end up showing up at the village a little bit sooner, because Naruto's, like, that much stronger than he was, and they'd be like, okay, we're gonna attack the village, and we're gonna have Naruto, like, kind of, like, chained up so he can't get any more powerful, because they're like, that dude is really strong, he has Sage Mode, all of these different things. We do not want him to be able to be like a perfect Jinchuriki, because we will not be able to get him then. So they kind of just want to, like, store him away and not let him, like, capture him now and seal him away later. So they show up at the village and they're like, okay, it's time to show you pain. So they end up, like, attacking the village. Naruto and Jiraiya, they both enter Sage Mode, and they pretty easily take down the five paths of pain, leaving only the 6th, which is the Diva path, obviously, because that's the strongest one. But Naruto would be more than enough to take it on, and while in Sage Mode, he sensed exactly where Nagato was, so he'd be like, going over there, and he would find where Nagato is. Nagato didn't actually end up killing anybody in this, at least not yet. Just because, like, Naruto and Jiraiya, as well as Karin, would easily have taken down all of the 6 paths of pain, as well as their target being Naruto, who was actually in the village at this time. So, they're like, okay. They go over and they find where Nagato and Konan are, and they're like, so, what you up to? Jiraiya's here as well, and he sees Nagato for, like, the first time in, a long time, and he's just like, Nagato, why? Why did you do this? Because Jiraiya isn't dead. So Nagato would kind of, like, he'd be like, what do you mean, why'd I do this? I'm doing this to create peace in the world. And basically, that whole, like, talk no jutsu happens, except Jiraiya is kind of, like, there in the background now, who's kind of like, Naruto really is probably going to be the child of prophecy. Kind of thing like that. So he's like, okay, whatever. Nagato gets like, changing a little bit, but a little bit of a change here. Instead of Nagato, like, killing himself using the Rene Rebirth, he didn't end up killing anybody. So, you may wonder, what exactly is going to happen with him? Is he just going to, like, kill himself anyway to try to repent for the actions he's done? Well, I don't know what he's going to do. So, yeah, whatever. He's going to... What should I even make him do? Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to make him kill himself. He's going to be like, well, I must repent for my actions before, killing himself. But not in, like, yeah, whatever. So, with Jiraiya being there this time, and Jiraiya being the absolute Chad that he is, he realizes that it would probably be a good idea to take the Rinnegan from him. Because, like, he's like, yeah, Conan's, like, changed and all, but, like, what's better? Having a village with people as strong as Naruto, like an entire village defending a Rinnegan, or having this one chick who's nowhere near as powerful as someone like Naruto or Jiraiya defending it? Yeah, that's right. They're gonna take the frickin' Rinnegan from Nagato's body. So they do so, and they're like, Konan, no offense to you or anything, but we will not be able to defend it as well as us. So they're like, we're taking this. So they end up taking the Renegon from Nagato, and they end up going back to the village where Naruto and Jiraiya are both praised as like a hero of the village because they pretty much did almost all of the work at taking down the Paths of Pain. But Naruto isn't like quite as like hero-like as he was at this point. He's not being like hoisted up into the air like Naruto, Naruto, like that isn't happening or anything like that. So I'm gonna leave this part off here. 100 likes for the next part. I don't think I said that at the beginning. I'm gonna have to record a separate freaking part and edit it. Whatever. So yeah, see you guys in the next part. Peace out. Bye.